Greetings from the village of Richka in Prykarpattia. Today we are going to dive into the magical world of the mountain life. But first, we have a big request for you. You have the opportunity to support our channel without making any special efforts. All you need to do is subscribe to it, like this video and leave any comments below it. We thank you right away. This is very important for us. My name is Ina and I have been living here in Ivano-Frankivsk region for several years now, in a originary mountain village. I already have many friends here. Halyna and her family are almost them. Today I want to introduce you to the peculiarities of their life. Halyna's morning begins with cooking for the cattle and animals that live on the farm. They cook here traditionally on a wood-burning stove. It's lit early in the morning to not only cook but also to heat the house. And while the porridge is cooking on the stove, Halyna is busy cleaning. She has to sweep every day, and sometimes even several times. I help Halyna put wood in the stove. I have already learned how to do this. Also, a few years ago I had no such skills. For the wood to burn quickly, it needs to be laid in the right way. It's also important to have a sufficient supply in winter. Halyna cleans not only the house but also the yard every day. The porch should always be clean. This rule applies here, regardless of the season. Meanwhile, I shovel away the snow that has fallen at night. This is also a job that I have to do every day. Sometimes it happens that 20-30 centimeters of snow falls in a few hours. So it's important to clean at least the path from the house to the stable or barn. While I'm shoveling, Halyna prepares breakfast for the cows. In winter they have an extra need for minerals, so salt is often added to their feed. In addition to feed, the cows eat leftover vegetables, peeling of potatoes, carrots and beets. Even in winter, when it's freezing outside, cows need to work. That's why Halyna and I take them out of the barn and into the street. Of course, when there is white, cold snow instead of green, lush grass, the walks are not so pleasant for the cows, but they're happy to eat what we have prepared for them. Every cow in village has special bells around its neck. This is a kind of alarm. Very often cattle in the mountains graze freely, but thanks to the bells, the owners can hear where their cows are And in summer, where not only cows but also sheep are brought to the mountain meadows, the melodious sounds of dozens of bells constantly spreads across the hills. Since ancient times, the Hutsuls who lived in the Ukrainian Carpathians have been engaged in sheep farming, breeding cattle, milking cows and sheep, and making cheese from milk. They also made warm woolen blankets called lizhniki, which are called lizhniks. These crafts are still being developed today, and almost every house in a mountain village keeps cattle. Perhaps not in the same numbers as in the past, but the traditions remain.
Встаню. Не бігати. На колено. Ну, коліна взяла. На колено. Кнопка. Кнопка. Ну, зараза ти мама.
Meanwhile, the cows are no longer bothered by the cold and snow. They're happy to run around the street. Now it's difficult to drive them into the stable, but Halyna and I quickly managed to get them into the stables. However, we also had to run after them, but it's not bad. At least we warmed up a little. Halyna carries hay to the stables. It's so fragrant. It's used not only as food for the cattle in winter, but also for insulating the stables. Hay harvesting begins in the spring. It's a very long, complicated process that involves all family members, but there is no other way to do it. But it's time to cook dinner. The local cuisine is very interesting. The diet is based on local products, cheese, mushrooms, vegetables. This food is nutritious, healthy and delicious. I pour water over the dried wild mushrooms to soak them. This method of storage is quick, convenient because dried mushrooms take up a little space and don't take much time to cook. Of course, the locals make such preparations on their own. The Hutsuls know very well which mushrooms are edible and which ones are better not to eat. Of course, they also make preserved here every season. Salted cucumbers are used as an independent snack in salads and in main dishes. Every housewife has her own recipe for perfect cucumbers. By the way, I already have one. Halynas are also very tasty. While I'm taking the cucumbers out of the jar, Halyna is heating cow's milk cream in a stick-warmed saucepan. You can also add butter to it to make the finished dish even more delicious. I cut cucumbers into small cubes and use a lot of them. They're cold and crispy. I just want to try them, but I hold back because I know how delicious lunch is waiting for us today. Now we need to peel a large onion. This is another ingredient that is constantly used in Hutzul cuisine. The onion must also be cut finely. It will be needed to frying. Today we are preparing some interesting local dishes that can be seen both on the festive, Christmas and everyday dinner table.
Я ставлю, нехай вона гріється.
Fry the onions in oil, stirring constantly. Meanwhile, the dried mushrooms are already completely soaked. They also need to be heat-treated, but first chop them into large pieces. While the mushrooms are fried with the onions, add the corn grits to the pot with the cream. This is how banish, a traditional Hutzul side dish, is prepared. It's not just corn porridge, because banish is always cooked with milk or cream, and Hutzul cheese is added to it, which makes the taste of this dish incomparable. And I add squeezed garlic to the chopped cucumbers. I season this mixture with sunflower oil. This dish is called grammatica and it's often prepared here. And it's very tasty, by the way. The banish is almost ready too. Today we will serve mushroom gravy with it. To make it even more delicious, we add a little creamy to the fried mushrooms and onions. It will be incredibly tasty.
Ні, не так. Ні.
We also eat canned green beans here. However, you still have to open the can. Sometimes it can be difficult. To have a comfortable meal, you need to keep the stove burning. And to do that, you have to go outside periodically to bring firewood into the house. Today, Ed helps with this.
О, да, я зрозумів. Що ж ти жала?
Там воно так як за.
And now we can all sit down at the dinner table together and enjoy a delicious meal. When you have your loved ones around, even simple food becomes incredibly tasty and delicious. Thank you for spending this day with me. See you soon.